Welcome to the Car Deal Advisor Podcast Show. The presenter of this show is Hugh Hetrick. Get ready for special motoring legends and great deals on your next set of wheels. So the 5 red lights have just gone out and it's go, go, go.
Welcome to the Car Deal Advisor Podcast Show with me, Hugh Hetrick, and my special guest, Andrew Dixon.
Hello again, Hugh.
Hi, Andrew. It's good to see you.
Good
and
to see you.
We've just finished recording our preview on the YouTube live stream, which we had a massive number of views. So many we just can't record them.
Yes.
And more than BBC Four. Well, hopefully. But we had a great time, and I introduced Andrew, saying this is Andrew in the flesh, realising that's maybe not what you were expecting. But as this is a podcast, thankfully you can't see what that might be. So
I don't have my Halloween costume on now.
So tonight it's the F1 special, and it's all about Lewis Hamilton and being 5 times world champion. And we've got some other racing news as well. But let's get straight into it. What do you think, Andrew? It was a phenomenal weekend and really a brilliant year for Lewis Hamilton.
It was, yes. But to me, it doesn't stand up with Fangio. Fangio, you know, it is another era. 5 times it's like Hamilton saying it's going to take a while for it to sink in for him.
Yeah.
But for the fans, you know, I know there's a lot of new fans who say, yeah, you're the future. But you have to look at the past as well and go, Fangio did it in so many different cars, shared cars.
And he was
during
39 when he started.
When he started,
I mean, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Hamilton's what, 33?
Yeah, and he was something like, was he 49 or 47 or 48 when he finished?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was really old.
I mean, you have to look back on your history and try and compare them, but it's different eras. It's 5 times, but you know.
Yeah, and at the start of the F1 Championship as well, with cars that were notoriously difficult to drive and very dangerous. You know,
very dangerous.
If you have an accident, you're more likely to lose your head. You know,
open roads, bales,
you know,
spectators.
Yeah.
But no, Hamilton has done well. But how many more championships do you think he's got in him?
I think he does have 2 or 3. Whether he'll stay around long enough to do it, I think it all depends as to how it works in the next few years. I
think he's losing his motivation a wee bit because he seems to have a lot of breaks in between races, and I know the media follows him everywhere, but he does kind of strange things between races.
Well, he's gone full vegan, hasn't he? So now he won't even eat. I don't know what that is in terms of being a vegetarian, but I mean, if you're a vegan, that means you don't eat anything that even grows on the trees.
Well, I think his music's coming out as well this year. So.
Was he actually going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So, could you imagine Nigel Mansell releasing a single?
Yeah. Peaky Blocky on the. I used to have Nigel Mansell racing gloves.
Right.
Yeah, they were really good. I thought I should have wear them on my driving test when I was 17. Mansell, you know. Driving what was it? It was a Nissan Sunny on my driving test. I'm sure that would have impressed the examiner. You know, I should have had the cap as well. You know.
But no, it seems to have a strange media presence. But yeah, I think he has got a couple more championships, as you say, if he still has the motivation. Yeah, but he could go on and do.
Yeah, I wonder if would he do other forms of motorsport? Would he go into Formula E? Yeah. Or actually, I saw the new cars, the Formula E cars, and I was quite impressed.
Then this will be the first year where
they go change over. Race. Yeah, and they sound quite kind of strange. Right. Well, they do sound like a kind of jet car. It's kind of a bit different, you know.
But they never took our offer of having an Edinburgh race, though.
No,
there's no British race next year.
Well, they couldn't afford. Oh, there's no British race at all next year.
No.
I'm surprised. I thought they would have maybe used a short version of Rockingham. You think? Oh, they could have used Silverstone, or Stowe, one of the ones that
London again. That was fine.
Yeah.
No British.
What do you think actually, Brands? I think in fact, I think Brands Hatch, the short circuit. You'd have thought that would have worked, wouldn't you? Because
Donington.
Yeah. Because it's maybe short enough to do Donington if you don't put the loop in there. Yeah. I mean, it's not. Yeah, in fact, Donington without the loop would definitely. Yeah, and they use that for touring cars.
Well, we definitely need a British Formula E race.
Yeah.
Dario, if you're listening.
Well, we got deep pockets because by the time we take our cut, there won't be much left for the track. You know. But yeah, no, that would be good.
Because that'll be interesting next year. Well, I think it starts in December, doesn't it? To see Massa in there as well.
Oh, he's going to be in there Formula E. No,
But well, he hasn't raced all year now. So.
So we have a bit of a belly.
Well.
They're matching me, you see. I can get in the car, just can't get out, you know. But I know, so that will be good. That will be good. So we've still got 2 races to go. We've got Brazil and we've got Abu Dhabi. And I have to admit, I love the Abu Dhabi track. I think it looks spectacular. And Brazil, Brazil's good, but everyone else is, everything gets nicked in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, like they have to have everything kind of hammered in.
Yeah, Hamilton will be going to Senna's grave again in Brazil. But
oh, yeah, that's right.
For
of
more
course,
motivation,
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But I'm going to do a go-kart event actually at Knockhill in a couple of weeks' time, a few weeks' time. It's the good thing about Knockhill is you can register online, and then you can give yourself a nickname.
Right.
And I put my nickname as Senna's fast cousin. So look out for some slow lap times coming around. You know, similar to that record is a 33 dead.
Right.
So I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near that. I might be dead by the end of it, but hopefully not. But yeah, it should be quite fun. So I'm going with some old friends from Longridge, so that should be a bit of a laugh. But no, it's going to be the next 2 races should be good. And I mean, it's that first corner, the Senna S's, where there's always kind of coming together and things like that. But what would you say was your high point of the race in Mexico? I love that when they come into the last the grandstand area. I think that's what we need at Charter Hall. We need these really high stands, these massive grandstands.
I'm just really impressed that they've had over 300,000 spectators. I mean, that is fantastic. You've seen some of them this year. Half the grandstands have been empty.
Like China and other places.
On the telly the other morning, they were saying that viewers are turning off F1 now, because some of the races are boring.
And I thought the racing this year has actually been quite good. If you're a dedicated fan, it's been quite good to watch.
But it's just the past 2 or 3 years. It's been a wee decline. But.
And yet we've had some phenomenal races. I mean, like Azerbaijan was always good. That's been described, and it has some big shunts there and lots of action. But I suppose I think again maybe because the noise isn't the same, there's not that kind of atmosphere, and
people are streaming programs now and not wanting to watch it live just to fit in with their lives. I mean I've missed 2 or 3 live ones this year because I've had to do other things. I was thinking though, and this is a Cardo Advisor special exclusive. We should aim to try and do podcasts either when the races are on or just after them if we can. And either I'm going to have to get you an old laptop from somewhere and get Skype on it so that we can watch it and we can discuss it as it happens or just after it happens and do a podcast review. Or you can come over here and watch them when you can, because I've got Sky, so we could do that, and then we can put it out to our loyal listeners who are increasing in number. Just not for the live version.
And we'll just get it's copying the Sky. I'm sure they won't have anything to say about that. It's like when your viewing figures are into the millions. Have more than Miley Cyrus, It's like,
actually, there's an idea.
Yeah, you're going to need more than a Mexican lawyer for that one, I think.
Do you have a wrecking ball?
Yes, her music's really good. But she's gone a bit crazy, but I'm sure her music is fine.
Right.
But
for 12-year-olds.
Yeah, she has the kind of attitude of a 12-year-old, isn't it? But how the heck did we get onto that? Well, now we're finding Andrew's secret preference for music. But well, so there we are. So it was a phenomenal championship, and we have a 5-time world champion. Yeah. And do you think he might win BBC Sports Personality of the Year?
If he does, I don't think he'll be there like last year. He snubbed it last year as well, which doesn't gain any popularity points with me anyway.
Because he doesn't come along.
He must have had something more interesting to do.
It's given me a thought. I wonder if he hires one of those. You can get those companies that give you like fake reviews on the internet. They give you lots of friends on Facebook. Maybe he could hire a whole call centre from like India or somewhere to phone up and give him the win.
Well,
and say, yeah, they're all going to vote. They're all going to vote for Lewis
Where
Hamilton.
did he come last year? He wasn't even in the top three, was it?
He was in the top 10, I think, but he was
not the top three anyway. No.
Aye. Well, if he does that, he could be in Vegas
they
having a party, and then he'll win it
just
anyway.
send a hologram along.
You know, your Mercedes AI machine.
Well, it's all going to be robot drivers in the future, anyway. So.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want it a bit because you need a driver.
Yeah.
You need someone to at least press the buttons. It's like and try and steer it. But no, but that's the thing. So we'll see how that.
It might be more interesting with the MASH. Oh.
Now you can see it's a live stream.
It could be more interesting with the Smash robots driving.
Aye,
remember
the
that
going everywhere. Aye, no, that's the thing, isn't it? But it'll be a bit of wreckage after that one. So there we are. So 5 times world champion. He may make it on to BBC Sports Personality of the Year, possibly.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
But we'll see. I think because it's now very PC, and it's all going to be all kind of women's. Because there's this new women's motor racing title that they're going to do, isn't it? So because there was a girl who won one of the Formula 3 races, wasn't it?
But she found she couldn't get much higher.
So now they're going to have an all women's series, which could be interesting. And so no doubt they'll get all sorts of people.
I think it's going to be held at the same F1 locations.
All right, as the Formula 3 races.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, well. Yeah. I wonder who they'll get, certainly, for it. Could be interesting, isn't it? But, I just thought of something. What they needed, with all this kind of transgender stuff, what you needed like a man to claim he's a woman. And then he'll be, now they can't say no, aren't they? So, hey, we can do it, man. Just...
Are you sure the lawyers are on standby?
Well, there was that thing, was there not something in America about a man who now claims to be a woman? He's in the young sports thing. He must be a teenager at school or something. And he's won all these races because he's racing against women. And he's clearly a man. But he's claiming he's a woman. And of course he's winning all the races. I mean, it's completely crazy. But there you are. That's on another subject. You know?
Yeah, we're going off at too many tangents today.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's very, very good. This is going to be interesting. We'll get some good comments, no doubt. So, let's go with some other headlines on the Cardio Advisor podcast. In fact, we'll do it right after this little commercial break. We'll be back in a few seconds. At cardioadvisor.co.uk, we can help you save thousands of pounds on your next new car or van. And we can also source second-hand cars as well. And we can save you money on car rental, whether it be in the UK and abroad. Just click our rental link on the website. And we'll give you a free gift if you trade in your car with We Buy Any Car using our special website link. So go to the website now and see how much you can save. And it's back to the show. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Cardio Advisor podcast show with me, Hugh Hattrick, and my special guest is Andrew Dixon.
Hello again.
Hello. So we'll go straight into the headlines.
Yeah, unfortunately, since the last time I was here, George Campbell has died. He was from Chirnside, and he was 83, so he had a good long life, and he was friends with everyone who came to the Jim Clark room. I didn't know this, but he'd actually moved to Edington Mains at Chirnside when he was 6 months old with his parents.
Oh, right.
So his dad was the farm steward at Edington since then, 1942, when Jim's family moved there. He was a lifelong friend of Jim Clark, and George was a lovely man. And Sheila actually worked at the room years ago. It's really sad for Sheila and his family and all his friends, but he had a really good life, and he was a good man, George.
And then you've got more news about the Jim Clark rally.
Now, I believe I've heard from a few people who have taken part in the past few years that there will be a rally next year in some form. It could be Reavers, it could be a full one, but they really want one next year. But I'll try and get it confirmed for the next podcast.
No, that's good. That would be something else.
And well, we can't say no to £2 million for the economy.
Exactly. So. No, we need that. And you've got some other F1 headlines.
I do. It's going to be good now that the championship is over for this year. It's going to be great to have 2 more British drivers next year: Lando Norris at McLaren and George Russell at Williams.
Yeah, that's true.
Now George, I seem to see him more in the headlines than Lando, but hopefully
because he's leading the championship. Is he almost? No, he's got. I think there's one more race to go.
Yeah,
is it?
and I think he's going to win it. So
is it Abu Dhabi or is it Brazil?
I'm not sure. Not sure. Right. But yeah, the 2 of them. It's good to have more British drivers on the grid again. Yeah.
No, that's the thing.
And also we'll have Chris Meek back at the World Rally Championship, which I was watching the coverage. I think in September there. I must have lost track, and I didn't realise he'd been sacked in May.
All right.
I was looking for him in every result since May,
and of course he's not been in there.
He'd been sacked because of a big crash again.
Oh, right.
But no, he's back in again next year. So yeah, Chris can do great things when he's on form.
And not in the trees somewhere.
Yes. Or down a cliff.
Or driving like somebody from Avis, you know.
And I've also got some more news which I heard last night.
All right.
My friend Eric Bryce, who was a lifelong friend of Jim Clark as well, he used to take a lot of photos of Jim, and he took footage of Jim at Charter Hall in 60 or 61. Now that was used in the Mark Stewart documentary a few years ago.
Right.
And now that same footage is to be used by the Grand Tour next year.
Oh, wow.
In a special, May and Hammond filmed it at Jim's old school Loretto in Edinburgh in the summer. So it's going to be a historic piece on the Grand Tour.
Exclusive. That's a Car Deal Advisor exclusive. Well
Eric just got word from the producer last night to fill in all the copyright forms last night. So,
goodness. Yeah. Well, that is
so his footage is going to be on the Grand Tour next year, and we'll get to see it. I don't have access to it, but I think
you can watch. I'll get Amazon.
Well, Eric's going to get a DVD copy. So
I'll
get to see it.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good going, isn't it? No, that's going to be the thing. It's been very interesting, actually, because in the car world, with all these new emissions regulations, September was actually a bit quieter than they thought.
Right.
So now the deals that they're throwing at the door are something else.
They need the sales now.
Yeah. Well, I've done quite a few deals in the last little while, but Skoda is one of the strongest. Right. And you could get, for example, a brand new Skoda Octavia on a 2-year, it's a 9 plus 23 month deal. 10,000 miles a year. Skoda Octavia Estate. It's a 1 litre petrol turbocharged, 115 horsepower, SE Tech. And it's, including that, just £150 a month.
Right.
So it's an amazing deal. Now, some people might want it without the VAT, so you just take the VAT off it. It's about £125 plus VAT, basically. But yeah, so there's cracking deals.
Oh, how much do you pay up front?
9 payments, so it's roughly just over £1,000. Depending on what how you set it up. But yeah, so it's an amazing deal, really, and there's quite a few going about on pickup trucks, or even on specialist stuff. There are some phenomenal deals like minis.
Do you have any van deals at the moment?
Yes, very good on the new Citroen Berlingo, both on cash deals and on contract here. On contract hire, there's up to £4,000 or £5,000 off, and that's a brand new version. And also the new Berlingo car, which is a kind of NPV, which is actually quite a smart looking car compared to the last one. It's quite a big step forward. So there's lots of new stuff coming out. And all the van companies like Ford and Fiat, Peugeot, Citroen, Renault, they're all doing kind of sports versions now of their vans. And it's quite good because it's a Renault, for example, they have it with the Renault Sport. And it's got the same colour schemes. The whole van is black, but then it's got the yellow stripes on it. But they've done it really well with a kind of carbon fibre, kind of mock lookalike. So it looks like a team van from the Renault Sport.
So that's what Ricardo will be in next year then?
That might be all we can do. We might have to take a pay cut. And that'll be the fastest thing in the Renault range, I think, but I don't know. No, he'll probably get an Alpine, won't he? He'll get one of the new Alpines. Or I do like the Renault Megane Sport.
Right.
I'm still trying to see if there's any discounts available on them because they're really hard to come by just now. But they're a fantastic car. The other deal that was phenomenal was an 18-plate Alfa Romeo Stelvio, which is the 210 horsepower Speciale version. It's fully automatic, comes with leather and all the bits and pieces. Should be over £42,000, and they were selling for just over 35, which is a lot of money off. And they were 18 reg, but they were pre-registered with the delivery mileage, and that's a cracker of a car. Really, really nice. I've driven that. In fact, if you want to see my video review of that, just go on to YouTube and search for Hugh Hatrick, and you'll in turn get the list of videos that we've done in the last week.
Yes, and please watch our live preview.
Yes, a live preview, but
to get the numbers up from 0.
Well, I've had over 322 views of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, which is
they can all watch tonight's preview as well. Then.
Exactly, it's always a bit of fun, isn't it? So there we have it. So that is our kind of deals of the week. So we will quickly take a little pause, and we'll be back in a few seconds. For more information, go to cardioadvisor.co.uk, and you can see all the special offers that we have on the website. And remember, we have our YouTube channel, which is at Hugh Hatrick, and also we have our podcast on Podbean, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Anchor FM. And if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to our shows, or you can donate every month for just £1. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Cardio Advisor podcast show with me, Hugh Hatrick, and my very special guest, Andrew Dixon.
Hello again.
Hello. Well, we've had some coffee, and you've had some adverts, and now we've got some more information to tell you about the Jim Clark room in Duns.
Yes, now the building work seems to be progressing. I don't know an actual opening date yet, but it'll be sometime next year. It'll probably be late summer, I think.
Do you think?
They've had to rebuild the whole garage at the side now. They took it all down.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So that's going to be the space. They're going to have 2 or 3 of Jim's cars in there on a rotational basis.
Yeah.
So there'll be different ones every few months.
Aye. Oh, wow.
I know Peter Windsor is storing Jim's Elan somewhere around here. I can't say where because it's worth quite a bit.
Barn find anyone?
It's worth over $1 million, I think.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be. I mean, certainly, obviously now it's a skeleton of the building. They've done quite a lot already.
But there's going to be the garage, and then like a futuristic glass bit connecting the old house. And that's where the new reception is going to be.
And then the bit in the back garden or something, isn't there?
I think that's going to be a play park for kids as well.
All right. Is it still going to be free? I hope to be.
I'm not sure yet. Live Borders are going through a bit of a change, so I don't know.
We'll see how that goes, but certainly it's going to be very exciting.
But it'll probably be late next summer, and they'll have something like happened in 2013 and 2015.
Brilliant.
They might have closed roads demonstrations, but there's so many rules and regulations now since that last happened.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The guy in Club Lotus was telling me that there's a lot of red tape now.
That's the Scottish government.
It might not happen again.
Well, hopefully they can do it. Because they're only a bit of Newtown Street. I'm sure they can make it work.
And if Dario's there, Dario Franchitti, then he'll definitely want to race something along the street. So.
Yeah, I do a big burnout on that. He needs one of his Indy cars because they sound quite good. I mean, they're at least quite noisy.
And he has got I think it was the 65 pace car that drove Jim around the Brickyard in 65. Oh, wow. Dario owns that now.
Wow.
So he might have that across.
Yeah. That would be something. But, that will be really good. So hopefully maybe middle to late summer next year for the Jim Clark room in Duns.
And there's also a competition to rename it. I think it's on the Jim Clark Trust website.
All right.
That won't be the room anymore. Someone has to rename it because it'll be
the Jim Clark Museum.
Well, it'll be what the garage, the glass thing in the house. So
the Jim Clark Museum. I mean, I won 20,000.
I don't know.
I don't know what else you can call it.
Experience.
Jim Clark experience.
The Jimmy Clark experience.
yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Purple Haze.
Yeah, exactly. Come to Duns and see.
Yeah.
Famous racing driver. But I think I want to put that in the Jim Clark Museum. How many people are going to just do that? They're going to have trouble splitting the bill for that one, aren't they? Or splitting the prize. But,
but it's on the Jim Clark Trust website anyway. So
all right. Oh well.
I don't know when the competition closes, but
Yeah.
we need a rebranding.
Yes, yeah, no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully my next test drive, which will be coming quite soon, will be an Abarth 124 Spider. To clarify it yet with Fiat and Alfa Romeo, but I have expressed an interest, and I'm waiting to hear to see if it's possible to get one for a couple of days. It's a lovely car. It's nice and fast and noisy and quite pointy as well. With acceleration, it feels like a real sports car. I drove one in the summertime just at a company car event. So that will be coming, and I'm going to do a full video review of that, but I'm going to try and keep it nice and short. I learned from the last one to make sure it's all done properly. So that should be fun. And then you were saying that you've had a few updates with your car.
Yeah, my Kia Picanto. I'm happy with it, but I'm paying the lower end of HR. But my workmate is paying £300. Strange. It's a brand new car, but £300.
Oh, did you get it through your work? Was it a work offer?
No. But it's just he told me the price, and I was just astounded. £300 a month.
For a Kia Picanto?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is, yeah.
Is that like on a PCP or something?
I have no idea.
Well, it must be or higher purchase, but I mean, you must have no depositors or
300 is
ripped
crazy.
off.
Yeah,
His interest rates must be huge.
Crazy. I mean, I'm only on 115 a month.
Yeah, because normally they're pretty low. Because depending was it brand new when you got it, or was it?
It was a year old.
So by the time they do it on HP, it's not going to be a huge amount.
But 300 just seems a really bad deal.
Now,
I'm sure you've got better deals than that.
I could get you something. Well, I could get you something brand new for that. But yeah, no, there's not. I mean, even on an HP though, in a higher purchase, with a bit of deposit, or if it's a year old, there's a bit of room to play in to try and get that to work. And there's loads of great cars around about the £6-7 grand mark anyway. There's a lot of second-hand stuff around there. But no, that does seem quite a lot. Now, we have quite a lot of American viewers. Yeah, in the last wee while, we've seen our American listeners mount up. So, Americans are very familiar with Kia, but I don't think the Picanto is available in America.
Right.
It's quite small. And they do things like, it'll be like the Rio. I think you maybe get the Rio in America. But for all you Americans out there listening, if you think that Andrew needs an update or would like to see him in the better cars, because I have a feeling that Americans don't, although they regard Kias as very reliable and decent, they kind of think it's like, let's get you in something better. We're going to have a crowdfunding campaign for Andrew to get him a new car. Get him out of his Picanto and into something, more sporty. It's only two of you, isn't it? You only need it for there's no children going in the back. No. So yeah, we need to get...
And sometimes the cat's quite travel sick.
Oh, well. Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. I don't think cats are natural.
Mind that the last time we took him to the cattery, he did very well. He wasn't sick.
Oh, well.
Yeah. For the first time
in the back of your car or something.
No, it was good this time.
it was something. Oh, well. But that's something else for you. You wouldn't get that on other car shops. No. Does it car work for cats? Well, that could be a really good initiative.
Because the first Kia I ever had, I think I told you, the chassis actually flexed when you went round the corner. This was 10 years ago, and now they've worked on the chassis.
Was that a Kia Rio?
No, it was...
So the old ones and then went...
It was the very old one, and the chassis flexed.
Goodness.
Yeah.
We had the i10, which is a Hyundai version, and they were brilliant.
Right.
The brakes were phenomenal. You could really, you could have them on the limit. And they had phenomenal brakes, kind of almost overpowered for the size of the car because they were very light, and the steering was incredible. You could just flick it into a bend, and it was just the 1 litre, 60 horsepower, but it was nippy enough. You could overtake stuff.
I think the engine on my first one was 996.
All right, yeah. I think the 1 litre we had was similar.
Yeah.
What was a bit more horsepower now?
But no, at every corner it flexed, which was a bit disconcerting.
Oh well, goodness me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Talking of cars, I obviously have a Dacia Logan. So if you think I need to get a new car, which is probably going to be an overwhelming yes, then yes, feel free to donate at our website. Just go to cardioadvisor.co.uk and you can donate for as little as £1. And that helps us to keep the podcast going.
And remember, the Charter Hall Fund's still open as well.
Yeah, we might all be quite old. I think we'll be older than the Knights Templars by the time we get the money for that. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, actually, I was at Charter Hall a few weeks ago. Right. It was a lovely sunny day. I thought, I'm going to go past and to see what it's like. I mean, the road getting in there is something else. Yeah. But there was a fly past when I was right there. Right. When I put it on Facebook, a German military plane flew past. Similarly, they use Charter Hall as their kind of turning point, and then they go all the way back to Germany. Right. But it was really, I was almost on the runway. I thought, I better not park there in case it's going to land, because it was coming so slowly. I thought, maybe it's going to, and it was low. I thought, maybe it's going to land and I'm going to have my Dacia.
It is still used quite a bit.
For small planes. Isn't it?
Well, Jackie Stewart lands there when he comes up to Scotland.
Oh, well. Yeah. So, yes, I thought I better not. I didn't park right on the runway. Say, hello, And it was like, I have to do an emergency kind of kind of fly past. But no, it was quite impressive to see, and it is ripe for work. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I did mention that fact before. Charter Hall was the first circuit in Britain to have an Armco barrier.
All right. Yeah, no, that's the thing, because I looked around a little bit and I could see the old barriers, but they were just like fences and stuff. Yeah. And of course, I was parked right along the street. It's incredibly windy.
The 1 mile long street.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah. It is impressive. I mean, that's as long as China. That's about a mile, isn't it? And the Chinese Grand Prix. So you never know.
And everyone used to love driving at Charter Hall. Mike Hawthorne was there. Jim Clark was there lots of times. Brabham there in 55.
Yeah.
So we just need more funds to get it reopened.
Yeah. Just hit that donate page and let's see what happens. We'll have to do a kind of evangelical approach. And then, it was like, but excellent. Well, there you have it. This week's edition of the Cardio Advisor podcast show. Remember, we have lots of previous podcasts that you can listen to, especially our one with Super GT, Steve Alvarez Brown, that we had last week. That's a brilliant one if you're into gaming and Formula One and want to learn how to reduce your lap times. Then you need to listen to that podcast as well. Plus, we have a few videos on our YouTube channel, which is Hugh Hattrick. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, for doing our recording tonight and for doing the YouTube preview. And we will speak to you again very soon.
Yeah, we'll see you again.
And to all our listeners, have a great week. It's lovely to speak to you. Drive carefully. And we'll be back soon. Bye-bye.